It's August 2025, and once again the internet is flooded with debates about The Simpsons and their mysterious ability to foresee the future. Right now, one of the biggest headlines is the devastating wildfire in Los Angeles. Thousands of acres of land have been reduced to ashes, homes have been destroyed, and countless people have been displaced. The terrifying aerial images that dominate today's news look hauntingly similar to a scene shown in The Simpsons almost 9 years ago, in an episode aired on September 25, 2016. In that episode, a fictional American town was consumed by fire, leaving the entire city covered in smoke. Back then, viewers laughed it off as satire. Today, reality has blurred that line. This has reignited the question: how much truth really lies in the show's decades of storylines? How can an animated comedy mirror real-world events so precisely? Are these coincidences, or is there a hidden reason behind their predictions? We've all seen that famous photo from 2017 where Donald Trump, Saudi King Salman, and Egypt's president stood together with their hands on a glowing orb. That image alone sparked endless theories about global power, symbolism, and hidden meanings. But what shocked people even more was the fact that The Simpsons had already shown the same scene in 2002, 15 years earlier. Was it just satire, or does it suggest that certain events are staged, already planned long before they happen? By 2025, the fascination with these predictions has only grown stronger. Some of them have already proven true, while others still loom on the horizon. What makes the show so legendary is not just its humor, but its bizarre relationship with reality. The Simpsons first aired on December 17, 1989. Since then, it has released over 700 episodes, making it the longest-running scripted show in television history. Once dismissed as just a cartoon for kids, the show has evolved into a global cultural phenomenon, watched by audiences of all ages. The reason is simple: events shown in the series often appear to unfold years later in the real world. One of the most striking examples dates back to a 1998 episode. Homer Simpson is shown scribbling a mathematical equation on a blackboard, trying to invent something new. At the time, no one cared much about the joke, but years later, in 2012, physicists officially discovered the Higgs boson particle, famously nicknamed the God particle. What stunned scientists was that Homer's equation from that episode was nearly identical to the formula used to calculate the particle's mass. How could a comedy show stumble onto something that cutting edge? Was it foresight, or just an impossible coincidence? Another eerie case comes from March 1995, when Lisa Simpson visited London in an episode. The animation showed Big Ben, London Bridge, and, strangely enough, a futuristic cone-shaped skyscraper that didn't exist at the time. 17 years later, in 2012, London unveiled the Shard, a skyscraper with the exact same shape, standing right where the show had placed it. Could that really be a coincidence? In 1998, another seemingly throwaway gag appeared. The Simpsons displayed the 20th Century Fox logo with a line underneath reading, "A division of Walt Disney Company." At the time, Fox was fully independent and had no ties with Disney. Yet, 21 years later, in 2019, Disney officially acquired 20th Century Fox. What was once a joke had suddenly become reality. Fast forward to the year 2000. In one of the most famous episodes, titled Back to the Future, Lisa Simpson is shown as the President of the United States. During a scene, she talks about inheriting quite a budget crunch from President Trump. At that time, Donald Trump was nothing more than a flamboyant businessman and reality TV personality. No one could imagine him even running for president, let alone winning. Yet 16 years later, in 2016, Trump became the actual president of the United States. But the parallels didn't end there. The Simpsons also mocked him descending the Golden Escalator, a scene that, in 2015, played out in real life at Trump Tower when he announced his candidacy. The shot from the show and the real-life footage looked nearly identical, further fueling the myth that the show was predicting the future. Another fascinating example appeared in 1998, when the show depicted a group of characters betting on who would one day win the Nobel Prize. On the list, if you look closely, was the name Bengt Holmstrom. At the time, it was just another obscure gag that no one paid attention to. But in 2016, Bengt Holmstrom actually won the Nobel Prize in economics. Once again, reality followed animation. The show also predicted technological innovations that would only materialize decades later. For instance, in a 1995 episode, Lisa is seen making a call on a futuristic phone that projects a holographic 3D image of the person she's speaking to. Back then, this was pure science fiction. But today, with advancements in augmented reality and holographic technology, this concept is inching closer to reality. Many companies are actively working on prototypes of holographic phones and projection devices that mirror this idea almost exactly. And then there's the matter of cryptocurrency. In 2010, an episode featured Professor Frink creating his own digital currency called Frinkcoin. The storyline poked fun at the idea of virtual assets replacing real money, but today, cryptocurrency dominates headlines and financial markets. Digital assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum are no longer a joke. They've become mainstream investments. Even Donald Trump, before re-entering politics, promised to make America the crypto capital of the world. By 2025, this promise remains part of global debate. In another storyline from 2010, Mr. Burns developed a device to control people's minds, a plot that at the time seemed absurd. Yet today, Elon Musk's company Neuralink is pushing the boundaries of brain-computer interface technology. Initially designed to help patients with paralysis, Alzheimer's, or epilepsy, the technology aims to connect human brains directly to computers. Neuralink's early prototypes already echo the ideas that The Simpsons satirized more than a decade ago. Fusion energy, too, was hinted at long before it became a serious field of research. In a 1996 episode, the show referenced nuclear fusion as a future energy source. Scientists dismissed it as a far-off dream at the time. But in 2023, a lab in California successfully demonstrated a small-scale nuclear fusion reaction. Many experts now believe that by 2025, fusion energy might move from experimental to practical use, providing cleaner and more sustainable power. Not every so-called prediction by The Simpsons is genuine. Over the years, social media has amplified many fabricated clips and edited images, presenting them as if they were part of older episodes. For example, the famous photo of Donald Trump, King Salman of Saudi Arabia, and the Egyptian president holding a glowing orb in 2017 was later animated into a Simpsons-style parody. The edited cartoon was then circulated online with claims that it originally aired in 2002. In reality, the scene was created after the real photo went viral. Yet because The Simpsons already had a reputation for predicting events, people were quick to believe it. The same applies to Trump's escalator moment. While it is true that The Simpsons depicted him descending an escalator, the actual animated version was created after Trump's real-life 2015 announcement. Many viewers mistakenly believed it was older, reinforcing the myth of prophecy. These examples prove that sometimes the hype around The Simpsons predictions is manufactured, not authentic. Yet there are also predictions that continue to spark debate. In a 1995 episode, Lisa Simpson visits London. In this version of the city, the Big Ben clock tower appears with a digital display instead of its iconic analog face. At the time, it looked like pure comedy. But in 2022, during restoration work on Big Ben, discussions emerged about the possibility of temporary digital installations. While this has not yet been implemented permanently, the very thought of altering one of Britain's most historic landmarks raises questions. Could this prediction come true by 2025? Only time will tell. Another prediction that has fueled speculation relates to the US presidency. Throughout history, America has never had a female president. Yet, The Simpsons strongly hinted at such a possibility. In the episode where Lisa is shown as president, she appears to be modeled after prominent female leaders such as Hillary Clinton. In 2016, Clinton came close, but ultimately lost to Donald Trump. In 2024, Vice President Kamala Harris also contested, but did not succeed. Now, as of 2025, Trump has returned to office once again. Still, the prediction lingers. Will America ever see its first female president? In a separate scene, another curious detail was noted. A badge was shown with the year 2028, and fans speculated it was a nod to Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump's daughter, suggesting she might run for office. While Ivanka has stepped away from politics for now, theories about her future return continue to circulate. Whether this is coincidence or foreshadowing remains to be seen. What makes these storylines even more intriguing is how some of them align with current global developments. As of August 2025, several trends point toward the possibility of these predictions still playing out. While many of them may be coincidences, others continue to feel eerily plausible. In a 2010 episode titled "The Fool Monty," Mr. Burns unveils a bizarre device designed to control people's minds. At the time, it seemed like nothing more than an exaggerated piece of satire. But today, comparisons are being drawn with the work of Elon Musk's company, Neuralink. Neuralink has been actively developing brain-computer interface technology that could, in theory, allow humans to connect directly with machines. Initially, the goal is medical, helping patients suffering from paralysis, Alzheimer's, or epilepsy regain control over their lives. Yet the idea of influencing or reading thoughts raises ethical questions, eerily similar to those mocked in The Simpsons. By 2025, Neuralink prototypes have already entered human trials, echoing a concept the show satirized more than a decade earlier. Another bold prediction involves cryptocurrency. Back in 2010, The Simpsons aired an episode where Professor Frink creates his own digital coin, humorously dubbed Frinkcoin. At the time, digital currency was obscure and virtually unknown to the public. Today, however, cryptocurrency has become one of the most transformative financial technologies in history. Assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and dozens of others dominate discussions around global finance. Nations are now debating how to regulate it. And even Donald Trump, returning to the presidency in 2025, has promised to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. What once looked like satire now mirrors financial reality. Energy innovation was also touched upon long before it became part of scientific headlines. In a 1996 episode, The Simpsons casually referenced nuclear fusion as a future energy source. For decades, fusion was considered impossible to achieve on a practical scale. But in 2023, researchers in California achieved the world's first net positive fusion reaction, an event hailed as a scientific breakthrough. Many experts believe that by 2025, prototypes for sustainable fusion energy may be ready for early commercial development. If that happens, it would represent one of the most significant shifts in human history, producing limitless clean power with no greenhouse gas emissions. The Simpsons' casual reference nearly 30 years ago suddenly feels like uncanny foresight. And then there's holographic communication. In a 1995 episode, Lisa Simpson is shown using a phone that projects a three-dimensional hologram of the person she is speaking to. At the time, this was pure science fiction. But 3 decades later, companies like Meta and Apple are developing technologies that aim to make holographic calling a reality. By 2025, the concept no longer feels impossible. While not yet mainstream, the idea of replacing flat video calls with immersive holographic communication is closer than ever. Once again, The Simpsons seem to envision the next stage of technology before the rest of us. All of this leads back to the central question: are The Simpsons truly predicting the future, or is it all just coincidence? With more than 700 episodes and countless jokes, storylines, and visual gags, probability suggests that some of them will inevitably match future events. But what makes the debate interesting is the precision of some of these alignments. From presidents to scientific discoveries, from global crises to technological marvels, too many examples feel uncomfortably accurate to dismiss as random chance. Critics argue that the show's writers are simply skilled observers of politics, science, and culture, extrapolating trends into exaggerated scenarios that sometimes come true. Supporters, however, believe the series uncovers hidden truths about the way the world is run, suggesting that perhaps much of history is already scripted by those in power. Whatever the explanation, one thing is undeniable. In August 2025, the fascination with The Simpsons predictions is stronger than ever. Fans continue to dissect episodes, searching for clues about what may lie ahead. As new events unfold, the comparisons will continue. And the world will keep asking the same haunting question: what will the Simpsons get right next?